Hi, everybody. We're back and we're going to learn about Elecampane today. It has been noted throughout history as being useful for asthma and bronchitis, also known for being antibacterial and antioxidant. Come over and learn some more with me. Hey, everybody. I'm back and my little disclaimers. I'm an herbalist. I am not a doctor. I have my notes over here. I have references to everything that I have gleaned my information from down in the description below. Please check that out. And also make sure you do your own research. That is an important one because I can give you a lot of information, but I can't give you every piece of information that is about the herb and how it relates to your life and how your situations are, your body, your brain, your makeup. It's all a little different in everybody. Not everybody can take everything. There's a lot. I apologize for missing the last 2 weeks. I don't really apologize for the 1 week. It was Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. for us. And it's warm here. I spent time with my family and had a great time. And then this past week, that one I have to apologize for because we had a snow day. And yes, I could have filmed it at home. My background's not all that great. I don't have a good setup for it. The lighting is terrible. And, instead of only taking 30 minutes to download the pod or upload the podcast, it takes like 3 hours. And it bogs down our internet connection. So that's why I do it here. And that's why I couldn't do it this past week. But now this week I'm going to do 2. Elecampane and still working on the next one. I have a poll up. I'm going to try to remember to do it each week, but it's not going to happen because I know me. But a poll down in the posts on YouTube that give options of what we could do next. So if you could go participate there, that'd be fantastic. I would appreciate it. So Elecampane is more commonly known as horseheel or as elfdock or elfwort. There's a lot of names. It's a bitter tasting plant that has a long history of various health benefits. So the roots are what are commonly used for digestive health as well as lung and respiratory health. It's mucolytic, which means it helps remove phlegm from the lungs. It's a perennial plant in the Asteraceae family, where the sunflowers are. It's originally native to Eurasia, where it spread from Spain to Western China. The scientific name for the herb is Inula helenium. Inula helenium. But most commonly we call it Elecampane. I learned about this plant probably about 3 years ago. I've never actually used it. So this one I do not have physical experience with. So the root of the plant is what is used, and it is antimicrobial. Frequently used as a bitter tonic or expectorant. It contains sesquiterpene lactones. It's a class of phytochemicals that have been studied in recent years due to an anti-inflammatory activity. So it's proven to do what it says it does. So we've got history and traditional uses. My phone is going crazy over here. Anyway, I probably should put my glasses on because, anyway, I can't see very well. 2 famous philosophers mentioned it in their speeches, their teachings, their learnings. The herb was commonly used throughout England. It was a staple grown in herb gardens where it was used as a culinary and medicinal plant. Not only is its roots common, but also can be candied and eaten as a dessert. So Inula helenium, as well as other things in the Inula family, has been widely used in traditional Chinese medicine, as well as Ayurvedic and Tibetan medicine systems for the treatment of various diseases such as bronchitis, fever, hypertension, diabetes, and inflammation. In Russia, the roots of Elecampane have been used as an expectorant for chronic respiratory diseases, including bronchitis, tracheitis, tuberculosis, and bronchial conditions with excess mucus. So the root itself is what is used, and it can be chewed and released, or choose to release the compounds. It can be administered as a tincture or a liquid extract. Um, the tea, you can use it as a tea, and it can be made from the roots as well. And it's also a popular essential oil. Inulin, is where the inula part of the word comes from. So it's got a lot of inulin in it. This herb contains a large amount of prebiotic soluble inulin, which supports a healthy intestinal tract. Dietary inulin is found in many foods like whole grains, whole wheats, onions, garlic. Preliminary studies suggest that inulin modulates the gut microbiota and its functions, and also may reduce gut inflammation. So it's good for us. Some research suggests that the Elecampane may have anti-inflammatories and antibacterial. Um, it also contains the phytochemical allantogliptone, which may be the reason for its anti-inflammatory effects. So it's also been used for fungal infections, bronchitis, osteoporosis, pneumonia, skin disorders, urinary tract infections, whooping cough, and even COVID-19. So constituents, we just talked about a lot of them, but we're going to talk about more because it contains over 400 compounds, mainly terpenoids. So sesquiterpene, lactones, and dimers, and diterpenes and triterpenoids, and flavonoids. So lots of terpenoids. Um, the allantogliptone is the sesquiterpene lactone, and it's the primary active constituent. It has isoallantogliptone, which is another sesquiterpene lactone that's also good for the anti-inflammatory properties. It's got helenin. Um, it's a phytochemical combination of anatolactone and anatolactone. These words, I'm serious. So, research estimates that the herb contains 19 to 44% of the inulin type, fructans, and higher contents being most typical in plants harvested in the autumn. There you go, harvest in the autumn. So there's Inula helenium, Inula britannica, Inula kappa, Inula racemosa, Inula viscosa, and Inula japonica. That's all the different species of the herb. The one we're specifically talking about today is the Inula helenium. So it is an expectorant, an antitussive, diaphoretic, hepatic, antimicrobial. The first action it has is anti-cancer. I know. That is like a huge claim. I get it. We talk about this often. But it just basically means that it turns off the things in your body that would otherwise cause cancer, anti, the oxidative stress. So it's got antioxidants, the anti-inflammatory. So, or the inflammation that occurs, the chronic inflammation that can occur in a body. So it's anti-inflammatory. I say these things in order. Um, but it's been known to be useful with liver cancer, colorectal, breast, cervical, lung, pancreatic, leukemia, gastric, um, glioblastoma, which is a brain tumor stuff. The sesquiterpenoid anatolactone, that is shown to work against the spread of cancer, which is the metastasizing of the cells, and it promotes cancer death. It also has been known to be used for tuberculosis. People have also taken it for the tuberculosis. It's a respiratory condition. The anatolactone, that's what stops the growth of tuberculosis. Um, it's also antibacterial, all the antis again. So it's definitely going to help. If you catch things early enough, is really when, or if you prevent it altogether, that's when things start to work well. It's not once you don't use herbalism as a last resort, you use it as the first resort, first go to, and then everything else is your last resort. So there was a study done on how it supports respiratory health. Um, sorry, a recent clinical trial involving 106 children with acute cough was conducted to test the effectiveness of cough syrup containing various herbs. It had Elecampane, common mallow, plantain, and everlasting flower. What's everlasting flower? Do I know this one? The heliochrysum is there. Stochis? That is a whole nother side note I might get into later, but more than likely it'll just be another video. Okay, everlasting flowers in it. Over 8 days, the study found that the group given the herbal cough syrup had a significant reduction in both daytime and nighttime cough scores. A lab study found that the elecampane, as well as Grandilla squarosa, I don't know what that one is either. That's another scientific name. But it reduced inflammation in cultured human respiratory epithelial cells. Uh, clinical A clinically tested and approved extract of the root is marketed in Russia under the name Elantone. It's prescribed as a treatment for acute and chronic infectious and inflammatory disease of the respiratory system, accompanied by a persistent cough and thick, viscous mucus. Isoalantolactone, the sesquiterpene found in elecampane, has been shown in laboratory studies to reduce inflammation and acute lung injury. Also very good for sore throat pain, and it can be combined there with either licorice root or horehound, which I probably should put on the list. So it contains the inulin, like we talked about, which is a prebiotic fiber. Put that down here. Horehound. I did licorice root before already. Okay, so inulin is a type of fiber that is readily fermentable by intestinal bacteria, which has it's known to increase stool frequency in individuals with constipation. So research indicates that inulin confers additional health benefits, including reduced intestinal permeability, like was that leaky gut, decreased fat mass, and improved appetite control. Research shows that bitter tasting herbs work to increase the secretion of gastric juice and bile. This primes the digestive system and helps the body digest food more effectively. Do you know it's also a sedative? Go to sleep. Because it is lunchtime. It is nice and warm in my office now because I got the door closed and the heater on, hence taking off the sweater. It does possess mild sedative. So it's basically to the point of not necessarily putting you to sleep, but it will definitely soothe your nerves, your anxiety. It will promote good sleep for the night if you have it before bed. One of the traditional uses of this herb is also to treat intestinal parasites and worms. So it's an anthelmintic. It has been used successfully to treat a range of parasites, including hookworm, threadworm, roundworm, and whipworm. One of the plant's constituents is thought the allantolictin is known to have the anthelmintic actions as well. So we talked about how it was also antimicrobial. So a test tube study looked at the effectiveness of the extract versus Staphylococcus aureus, staph infections. It has showed that 100% effective against 200 strains of staph infection. That's huge. That's big. Another in vitro study found that the essential oil present in Elecampane proved to be effective in fighting both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. The study also found that Elecampane was highly effective against Candida. Okay. Interestingly, the researchers noted that Elecampane essential oil was found to be more effective in attacking Candida than other well-known antimicrobial herbs such as tea tree and bergamot. Mhm. Okay. Another study found that Elecampane has vigorous antibacterial activity against the staph infection. So staphylococci are gram-positive bacteria that cause a wide variety of clinical diseases. Researchers noted that sesquiterpene lactones present in Elecampane were found to be the most active principle against Staphylococcus aureus, staph infection. Um, there's even more to that later. So the anti-inflammatory properties of it come from the sesquiterpenes. Also comes from dihydrococcus, which is a sesquiterpene lactone found in Elecampane. They conducted preliminary studies of how lactone affects the inflammatory pathway and how the dihydrococcus may stop inflammation and how it benefits lung ailments. There's just so many studies. I mean, a lot. You will find them in the notes below, in the links below. So, inflammation is a complex defense mechanism that is vital to our health since it is our immune system's response to harmful stimuli like damaged cells, toxic compounds, pathogens, irritations. But chronic inflammation can cause a lot of health problems. So it also has anti-proliferative properties. So it has really anti-migratory effects on pancreatic cancer cells. It has, well, as we talked about, antioxidants to stop oxidative stress. It has anti-stress effects. So research shows that Elecampane root contains numerous bioactive compounds, including antioxidants such as phenolic compounds, flavonoids, terpenes, sesquiterpene, lactones. Because of the antioxidants, that is shown to protect the body against the stress and neurodegenerative stress and diseases. So it's also really good for skin health. I'm kind of rushing through these. I feel like I have to because I got 16 pages worth of notes, and there's so much to this. I wanted to cover as much as possible without going too long. So we're trying. We're getting there. So Elecampane is found in skin creams oftentimes because it's natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. It's good at reducing like stress, itchiness, skin eruptions. Um, it can The essential oil can be diluted in a carrier oil and applied to the skin topically. Um, it's been known to help psoriasis and eczema, as well as other rashes. It also can be used in a poultice and applied to areas of the skin that are irritated. A few drops to the bath water gives you a full body experience. So apparently, and I could not find any examples of this, but this is what they said, is that the essential oil can be diffused in the home to freshen the air and eliminate unpleasant odors in the house from cooking or smoking. Um, it's sometimes used in soaps and cosmetics for its camphor-like fragrance. So maybe that's why I hadn't noticed. But I still didn't find anything that had it in it. But that doesn't mean it's not there. And look real hard. So we're going to go into the safety, safety implications, the interactions, the dosage. So it's a class 1. From the Botanical Safety Handbook, it is classified as safety class 1, meaning it is safe when appropriately consumed. Appropriate moderation. There's a chance it can interfere with blood pressure medication, blood sugar levels, because it will basically interact with any sort of diabetic or hypertension medications. Steer clear. So if you are allergic to anything in the Asteraceae family, anything, anything in basically like chrysanthemums, marigold, daisies, feverfew, chamomile. If you're allergic to them, you can't have this. It can cause interactions topically and internally. Yeah, you don't want things like vomiting, diarrhea, cramping, and potential paralysis. So don't use it if you're allergic to it. Seriously. It can also interact with other supplements like ginger, magnesium, potassium, and beetroot. So if you're taking them, don't take them together. So it will interact with sedatives because it has mild sedative effects to it. So don't take it if you're taking other sedatives. It can cause breathing issues and excessive sleepiness. And come on, we're all tired anyway. We don't feel worse. So you're not. One website said not to have it during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but another one said it's fine. The Botanical Safety Handbook notes that based on the available evidence, Elecampane appears generally safe for use during pregnancy and lactation. But then there was another whole website that said no. So, I mean, err on the side of caution. is what I would do if you're concerned. If you are not sure, err on the side of caution and don't use it. More than likely, there's nothing that will happen, but we're not going to go there because nobody needs to be complicit for this. There are other herbs that are perfectly safe to use while pregnant and nursing that you don't need to do the Elecampane either. So, just so you know, because it'll cause problems. Don't operate heavy machinery. It has anticoagulant abilities to it, just mild. So don't take it if you're doing blood thinning medications. Um, and it's a can stimulates the immune system. So don't take it if you're taking immunosuppressive medications like prednisone, methotrexate, stuff like that. Obviously, no sedatives, and no diabetes medications. There is no standard dosing. Okay. One website suggested a tincture 1 to 2 milliliters 3 times a day per day of a 1,5 tincture and 40% alcohol. Infusion is basically a tea, cup of cold water over 1 tablespoon of shredded root. Let it stand for 8 to 10 hours. Heat and take it very hot 3 times a day. With powder, they say 1 to 4 grams per day. And as an extract, 1 milliliter, which is about 30 drops, taken up to 4 times a day. And it just depends on you. It depends on the strength of the particular extract. It depends on what you need it for. There's a lot. So it is often used as a sustainable substitute for herbs like osha root, because osha root is not sustainable right now. Kind of like slippery elm is not sustainable, so we try to create or use the marshmallow root. There's things, there's lots. So there's a little taxonomy. It's fun. The genus name Inula is a Latin word that is considered a corruption of the Greek word Hellenonin. I don't know what that word is. The species name Helenium is thought to refer to Helen of Troy, who is said to have a handful of Elecampane with her when Paris abducted her. I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat. Not that I could pronounce the one word, but it's here. It's here. Another legend states that the herb sprang from where her tears fell on the ground. Another that Helen first used it against the venomous bites. A fourth that it took its name from the island Helena, where the best plants were said to have grown. Okay. We're going to talk about, we're going to continue with some gardening information. So gardening Elecampane is very, very easy. It's very easy to cultivate. So it's best when propagated. So if you find some, take some. So take some and pass it up. It needs partial shade, so at least 6 hours of sunlight a day. It prefers well-drained, slightly acidic to neutral soil with pH of 5.8 to 7. Um, amending soil as necessary, of course, is the thing. So the seeds have to be planted after all signs of frost have passed, about 1/4 inch deep, about 12 to 18 inches apart. Water gently, of course. You could start them inside, but you can't plant them until after the last frost. And you have to make sure it's watered, but don't overwater because it does prefer a drier environment. Mulching, fertilizing. You harvest it in the late summer, early fall when it is in bloom. Gently dig up the entire plant, taking care not to damage the roots. Shake off excess soil. Use a sharp, clean knife or garden shears to cut off the leaves and the stem close to the base of the plant. Separate the roots from the rest of the plant by gently pulling them apart. Inspect the roots for damage or pests and disregard anything that's compromised. You can store it by drying the root, and yeah, that can take weeks. Make sure they're washed, cleaned on a mesh strainer or on a tray of some sort, well ventilated, away from direct sunlight. We don't want that. Yeah, it can take several weeks for them to dry. But then you just and either tincture it, oil it, you can make an extract, you can make a tea, just cut it up and store it in a jar, and you got it. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so very much for learning with me. Learning with some notes from a meeting I had to go to, because I took care of it. And over on the YouTube channel, we also have a post with a poll of what herbs you could potentially want to learn about. I mean, we're going to get to all of them, but it's just a matter of like which ones come first. I could just go down the line, but I want to hear from you guys what you want to hear. And if you want to add something, just set a comment down below. Don't forget the links are there. Don't also forget to go over to the Facebook group, The Herbalist Garden, and join the conversation there. We have a lot of experienced herbalists, and we have just a lot of information that flies. We have some discussions on controversial issues, and it's a really good group. Come over and join us over there if you'd like. I also do post on Snapchat stories. I post on TikTok occasionally. I have Blue Sky. I have all the others too. But the Facebook one is the one that I'm most active other than Snapchat and YouTube. So come on over and check us out. We've been doing this now for almost 2 years. The podcast came just a little over a year ago. So I think we're doing pretty good considering. Thank you guys for all your support. For the next video, I'm going to incorporate some fun stuff. Maybe. I mean, I'm going to incorporate it. It's kind of dependent upon you, whether you consider it fun or not. That's how that works. It is objective, subjective. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for learning with me. And please go and check out all the fun stuff that I have down below in the description. And I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day.